So the enduro went pretty good. Last year I only got 59 laps. This year I actually finished the race. But I was having some issues. Around lap 50, I'm going to say, I realized the car wouldn't rev above 4,000 RPM. And it was a huge drawback. I was keeping up with the pack pretty good up until about lap 50. And then out of nowhere, it wouldn't go over 4,000. So I had to drop from gear 2 all the way to drive. So that way I couldn't keep my foot down. Because if it shifted down to a lower gear, the RPMs would rise and then it would start hitting the rev limiter at 4,000. To be honest, I have no idea what happened. The exhaust fell off, but I really don't think the exhaust was the reason. I pulled off into the pits. I checked the transmission fluid. I checked the oil. I was going to check the coolant, but the system was pretty hot, so I didn't want to open it. But realistically, I said, you know what, just go out there, go as fast as I can, and put in as many laps as I can. And I was doing 80 kilometers an hour when everybody else was doing 120. And it kind of made for a little bit of a dangerous experience of people trying to get around me. But I tried to stick to the inside of the track so that way people could go around. And I finished around lap 300 on the board. Not 300 laps that I've done, but with about 100 laps left of the race, I figured out that if I turned the car off coming into the corners in second gear and then turned it back on, the momentum from the transmission would restart the car and I would get 1/2 lap at a full RPM. So I was getting like 6.5, 7 out of the car coming out of the turn in second gear. But it was just basically like a temporary fix because it was fooling the computer before it could realize what was wrong and drop down my RPM. But it was not letting my fan turn on, so the car was getting even hotter and hotter and hotter. I did check it. The water is very low inside this thing, so I'm not sure if the head gaskets are gone and it's drinking the water or anything like that. I didn't really pop a tire until about 30 laps left of the race. And that's when I started figuring out how to get this thing faster and faster. And in the last 30 laps, I started driving like a douchebag and just drifting the corners. And I popped 2 front tires in about 12 laps. So I popped one, went out, changed it, put another one on, made about 12 laps, popped another one. But you know what, I'd really like to find out what was wrong with this car because it's still a good car. The cage is still and everything in it. There's another enduro coming up. I don't know if this car will be going to it because it is the same day as Fall Brawl again. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. If I'm going to do Brawl or if I'm going to do this. But my buddy Jesse Sandbrook is having a dirt enduro with a jump in mid-October. And this car is going to go to it. If it survives, then maybe it'll go next year. If not, the wife says she really wants to do the next enduro, and she doesn't want a V6. She wants a small, light 4-cylinder. So, Camrys are not light. I'm going to try to get her some kind of Honda that's automatic with a VTEC and a dual overhead cam, hopefully. And see if she enjoys the racing. She's always wanted to try it, so why not build her a car and let her try it? But I'm happy I finished the race, but I would have been even happier if I had placed one spot better because overall I got 26 out of, I think it was like 100-ish cars there this time. And they only paid to 25th. So I was one spot out of the money. One spot. But if you guys were ever wanting to do one of those enduros at Flamboro, this is basically the cage you need. You need 1 crossbar, post to post, and then 2 from the floor to the roof. The cage, it goes in there very quickly. This is my NG Customs cage, and I also have a 4-point harness bar bolted onto it as well. My exhaust did fall off, but I was able to get my cat back. Nothing like bringing home a lost cat. That may have been the issue there because there was an O2 sensor inside of that catalytic converter. So if this car needed that O2 sensor to run, then that would be no good. But I'm pretty sure that this car started running like crap before that broke off because I know exactly what broke it off. The car started running like crap, so I took a high line coming out of a corner and I ran over a plastic bumper which broke that off. So, oh well, I'm pretty happy that I finished the race. I can't say that I ever finished a race there before, so that's pretty ecstatic. My buddy Dylan didn't fare so well. He slipped on a patch of oil from someone's transmission and took his Mustang into another car on the boards. He's okay, but the Mustang's not doing very well. But thanks for watching, guys. If you want to watch the video, it turned out that the race started at 2 p.m. and finished around 8. So my GoPro did not get the whole race, but it got about 3/4 of the race. So feel free to watch the video. It is quite long, so bring some popcorn.